10,000 years ago, Earth's northern hemisphere underwent one of the most violent ecological shifts in planetary history. The last glacial, the ice melted, and with it, the giants vanished. The woolly mammoth, the saber-toothed cat, the short-faced bear, gone, swept away by human hunting and rapid climate collapse. At least, that is the official story, written in our textbooks. Biologists have long operated under a strict assumption: when large mammals lose their prey base and habitat, total extinction occurs within centuries. But evolutionary biology has a dark, chaotic secret. Life doesn't always die when its environment changes. Sometimes it retreats, it adapts, it devolves into something far more dangerous. Welcome back to Speculative Earth. Today, we are breaking down the documented biology, biomechanics, and evolutionary footprints of three megafaunal apex predators that did not die 10,000 years ago, and the secret evolutionary pathways that allowed them to survive in the shadowed corners of our world. Before we reveal creature number 1, make sure to drop a like on this video. It directly helps our dive biology research reach the broad community. And tell me, which historic animal do you secretly wish was still walking the earth today? Let's descend into the fossil record. The hyperboreal stalker, Ursus titanus. To understand how a giant survives extinction, you must first understand the rule of island dwarfism and its terrifying opposite, boreal gigantism. 10 millennia ago, as the ice sheets receded into modern-day Siberia and northern Canada, vast swaths of dense, old-growth taiga formed, while the open steppe grazers like the mammoth collapsed because their grasslands vanished. A subspecies of the short-faced bear shifted its evolutionary strategy. Meet Ursus titanus, the boreal stalker. Standing nearly 7 feet at the shoulder and weighing over 2,000 pounds, the stalker represents a radical evolutionary pivot. Unlike modern grizzly bears, which rely on opportunistic omnivorous diets, Ursus titanus became a hyper-specialized obligate carnivore. Look closely at its front limbs. Standard bear anatomy relies on plantigrade movement, walking flat on the soles of their feet, but Ursus titanus evolved digitigrade locomotion, walking on its toes like a big cat. This single structural change increased its stride length by 30%, allowing it to sprint silently through deep snow cover without breaking the icy crust. Its coat is not simple fur. It features a dual-layer chitinous keratin weave embedded in the lower undercoat. This provided two critical survival mechanisms during the mini-ice ages of the 14th century: complete thermal insulation and protection against the spears of early human hunting parties. Throughout the 1700s and 1800s, trappers across the Pacific Northwest logged hundreds of encounters with what they assumed were abnormal grizzly bears, but the tracks left behind were fundamentally different: 5 claws, elongated palm pads, and a stride depth that suggested an animal twice the mass of any known bear species. How did an animal this large remain undetected by modern science? The answer lies in its metabolic suppression. Ursus titanus doesn't hibernate for 4 months. It undergoes cryotorpor, a state of metabolic suspension that can last up to 3 years in subterranean cavern systems, waking only during severe temperature drops when prey is most vulnerable. Would Ursus titanus survive in modern North America, or would modern civilization force it into final extinction? Pause the video right now and leave your thought in the comments. I reply to the best scientific theories. Chitin armored pangolin, Gigas manus. If creature number 1 adapted through predatory stealth, creature number 2 survived through absolute impenetrable defense. During the Pleistocene epoch, armored mammals like the Glyptodon roamed South America. They were massive, living tanks, but when the climate shifted, their heavy shells became their death sentence. They couldn't regulate their internal body heat under rising temperatures, except for one lineage. This is Gigas manus, the great armored ground pangolin. Instead of a single rigid dome shell like the Glyptodon, Gigas manus evolved overlapping, vascularized keratin plates. Each plate is hinged on a bed of dense muscular tissue, acting like a radiator system. When the animal gets too hot, it flares its scales, releasing internal heat within seconds. When the temperature plunges, the scales lock tight, creating a vacuum-sealed thermal barrier. measuring 12 feet from snout to tail and armored heavily enough to deflect low-velocity kinetic strikes, Gigas Manus did not hunt big game. It became the ultimate ecological engineer. Using massive front claws backed by hundreds of pounds of forelimb muscle, it spent centuries excavating deep trench networks across subterranean river basins. These trenches didn't just shelter the pangolin. They created micro-ecosystems for hundreds of smaller species during toxic ash events and wildfires. Notice the eyes, or rather, the lack of them. Over thousands of years of living in dark, ancient forest beds and cavern systems, its vision degenerated. In its place, Gigas Manus developed hypersensitive electroreceptors along its snout, similar to modern platypuses and sharks. It can detect the heartbeat of an underground subterranean insect colony or a stalking predator through 5 feet of solid earth. Human expansion over the last 2 centuries broke the ancient forest corridors Gigas Manus relied on, but deep within unexplored mountain basins, local folklore still speaks of walking mountains, creatures so large and quiet that moss and ferns grow directly on their back scales as they sleep for decades at a time. Cavern apex predator, Smilodon subterraneus. Now we arrive at the most chilling speculative adaptation in post-glacial history. When people think of the saber-toothed cat, Smilodon, they imagine open grassland hunters leaping onto mammoths under bright sunlight. But when the open grasslands vanished, the saber-tooth had a massive biomechanical problem. Its long, fragile canine teeth would snap if hit against solid bone during a chaotic chase in dense forest environments. To survive, one offshoot went where no large feline had ever gone before, underground. This is Smilodon subterraneus, the pale stalker of the karst systems, living entirely in massive, unmapped cavern networks beneath Eurasia. This species underwent radical morphological shifts. First, complete melanin loss. Its coat lost all pigment, turning translucent white to blend into limestone walls. Second, acoustic expansion. Its ear bones expanded by 200%, allowing it to echolocate using high-frequency tongue clicks. And third, a flexible skeletal frame. Its spine decoupled slightly, allowing an animal the size of a lion to squeeze through rock fissures no wider than 2 feet. Unlike its surface ancestors that relied on quick-killing bites to the throat, Smilodon subterraneus became a patient ambush hunter. It would cling to cavern ceilings directly above underground watering holes, dropping silently onto prey in absolute darkness. For thousands of years, cave systems provided a constant ambient temperature and a steady supply of subterranean fauna. While surface ecosystems were burning or freezing during ecological shifts, the world below remained entirely stable. This brings us to a mind-bending conclusion. The megafauna didn't die because the planet failed them. They retreated into ecosystems human beings are physically incapable of occupying for extended periods. Conclusion: the secret chapter and outro. When we look at the fossil record, we often view extinction as a hard, definitive line. But evolution is not a straight road. It is a dense, twisting maze. The Ice Age did not kill every giant. It simply forced the giants to adapt to the shadows. Whether in the deepest boreal forests, the subterranean river trenches, or the silent black chambers beneath our feet, nature finds a way to preserve its most extraordinary designs. If you enjoyed this speculative deep dive into post-Ice Age evolution, do 3 things right now. Hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss our weekly world-building documentaries. Tap that like button to fuel the algorithm. Drop a comment below telling me, if you could explore one hidden ecosystem, the boreal taiga, the deep trenches, or the karst caverns, which one would you choose? Check out the video on your screen right now for more speculative biology breakdowns. And as always, keep questioning the world around you. I'm your host, signing off from Speculative Earth. See you next week.